first and foremost, how y'all doing? I want y'all to know that we are live. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear me out there in the streets. Okay, we're back in the studio. So if it's any technical difficulties, just let me know. All right, just let me know in the chat. When you come on in here, I want to say, hey, everybody. Shout out to my members. I see my members in the building. Shout out to y'all. Welcome, 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 welcome. We are back in the studio where we're going to be talking about the government shutdown. All right, we're going to be talking about that. We're on the brink of a government shutdown right here in the United States of America. To my audience internationally, well, the government, this is bad news for us because number one, many people depend on the government and they depend on government services. You have government workers depend on their paycheck because they do so much in the government. Now, the drawback of this government shutdown is very stupid, right? These are very stupid people. Number one, the Republican Party is very stupid. Now, you all are in charge of this country, meaning that you are in charge of the laws, you are in charge of, passing bills, right? You are in the majority, so you have the power. Now, they decided because of these group of people in office, they pick up, I call them the MAGA disruptor gang. They're allowing and saying to the Speaker of the House, McCarthy, we're not going to pass a bill. We don't care if you broker a deal with the president. We don't care. Even though majority of Republicans are with the Speaker and the president on passing the bill, it's a couple of holdouts that's saying no. Now, because of these couple of holdouts that are identified as the MAGA people, they are not cooperating with the speaker at all. But people forget that this man compromised his position of speaker and said, well, one person can call up a vote or a couple of folks can call me up for a vote, right? So now you have all of these people is saying, what is going on with Congress? Now, this is the kicker. You do not know. Congress can still get a paycheck. It's in the Constitution. Doing a government shutdown, Congress can still get them a check. Not the person that throws out the trash, not the workers that clean up the White House, not the workers that clean out the state, the Capitol building, not the government workers that clean out government buildings. They won't get a paycheck. But Congress, they will still get a paycheck. It is one, I forgot the congressman's name. He was on a show. He said, hey, are you still going to get your paycheck? Well, yeah, I'm still going to take my paycheck. I'm not going to not take my paycheck because I'm not independently wealthy. What stupid man? What about the poor black people, poor brown people, poor white folks that depend on government services? It's difficult. You got people, this government have so many employees. I don't think people understand the power of the federal government is almost the number one employer of workers. I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of workers that works for the federal government. Now, this is going to affect people on many different services out there. We're processing applications, also other programs that people depend on with children. I know a lot of folks got beautiful children that goes to daycares. That's supposed to run out, and a lot of daycare owners are saying that they're going to have to shut down because they depend on getting government subsidies, right, to keep the daycare open because daycare costs is a lot of money to put they people in the daycare. I talked to a viewer from Kentucky. Daycare cost is out of control. So if they snatch the government assistance away from people that got babies, this will destroy so many households because you will have to make a decision. Should I go to work or with my babies, or should I leave them at home while I work because I can't afford to put them in daycare? Because daycare, average cost of a daycare a month It's about $800 to $900, probably like $1,000 a month for daycare costs. So this is challenging for workers that depend on daycare, and it's challenging for workers that have children in daycares and pay out of pocket. How they're going to be able to afford to pay out of pocket when they are not getting their paycheck. Now, when a budget is finally passed, then those workers that have checks that didn't get there get it, but we don't know. Some say expect to be out of a check for a good 30 days, some predicting 60 days. Now, we don't want, and some more like $2,000 a month for daycare. So it's a lot. And I want to say to Republicans, you all are the trashiest people I've ever seen in my life. And so is Democrats. Because you all cannot get y'all stuff together. And Democrats need to lead the charge and say, Republicans, y'all need to be on every show as well with Democrats and Republicans, and say, hey, Republicans need to get their stuff together. How can we come to the drawing board? And also the speaker can definitely work with some Republicans and get some Democrats on his side. You got to compromise. Now, we all know the Speaker of the House will definitely be a one-term speaker if he decide to work with the Democrats. We know this. But who cares? You can always get you another job, Kevin McCarthy. You can always get you another job. Who cares if you lose it? We don't care. What I care about is my mom, that my dad, those brothers and moms and dads and uncles and aunts that are working for the government. They need their paycheck. People in our armed forces, beautiful armed forces, how they're able to defend the Constitution in this country, and they can't feed their babies back home. How do you expect them to be on the front lines? So we don't care if you lose your job. We don't care if you lose it. What I care about is the people that can't get another job. See, one thing about you, Kevin McCarthy, not only that you are white, but you got money, and you're so being a politician a long time, you're going to always get another job. But the chances are Pookie, Ray, poor Pauletta in the trailer park, they probably won't be able to get another job. This will harm so many people. So who cares about that? I'm upset because this government shutdown affects my bottom line. I have government workers that donate to the show, and they need their check so I can get a check. All right? So I'm just being real. I need to get my money too. So I want to make sure that my government producers are getting their money so they can send me my coins. And make sure y'all send me 10%. But with all that being said, I want people to get involved and understand. And the other guy, let me put a picture of this stupid person. He is so dumb. Do we got a picture of Matt Gaston? Is that his name? Put this weird man on the screen. Can somebody, producers, can y'all please put him on the screen here? I want people to see this stupid man. Matt Gaston. Okay, put him on the screen. Did he have like some controversy when he had somebody bread basket on the screen? I don't know if that's true. It's probably a rumor, but I'm not gonna start no rumors. Hold on, Paul. We back in the studio. Can you put him on the screen here? I thought that was his picture. No, that's not his picture. Hold on 1 second. I thought it was his picture. That ain't his picture. Give me 1 second, y'all. So while we try to get this man on the screen here, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. I want to make sure that he's on here. All right. Give me a second. I want y'all to see this clown. This clown. If I can find a picture. What is the world's going on with this? It's been a long time since I've been here. It's been a long time since I've been here. So y'all bear with the producers here. So this is Matt. Okay. You see this clown? This clown is still getting paid. He think he about that life, and he not. Okay. He represents, what did he represent? Let me make sure we get what he represents. All right. He represents the 1st district in Florida. Okay. This is a clown. Okay. He's serving his 4th term in office, and he's a member of the House Armed Service committee. This clown is keeping our people out of the government that getting their paycheck. How did he get elected? Now, it is poor people in his district that depend on government services. Don't get it twisted. But unfortunately, our people need to put a picture to this man. He's evil. He's not for us. And any black man that want to vote for a Republican, especially if you poor now, if you rich, okay. But ain't nowhere in the world you poor, you depending on government services, you live in check to check, you want to vote for a Republican like Matt? He trash. A Matt is something that he needs to be voted out. He's not doing a good job. He's a bad representation of the Constitution, of the fabric of the flag. He's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to his mama. He's an embarrassment to his daddy. He is an embarrassment to the human race. Okay? Anytime that you are holding up people to pay their rent is high. And see, this is the thing about government employees, you guys. Okay? If you don't pass a bill, you got to pay your rent. The landlord don't give a damn if it's a government shutdown. They got to get their rent so they can pay their mortgage. All right? So we can't afford for these government employees to not get a paycheck because they got to pay their rent. They got to feed their family. They can't go to their landlord. Some of them can't. Most of them are owned by corporations. Most of them, if you're renting. Oh, hello, corporation. It's a government shutdown. I'm not going to pay my rent. They don't care. They're going to send you an eviction notice. Like, get the F out so I can get somebody in here that can pay rent. So this is the effect of this that I feel like people are not understanding. And it's quite understanding. It's quite sad that this is going on. And we dealing with so many crises. I mean, in Chicago, Mayor Johnson, I love him dearly for what he stands for, right? Some of the stuff, not every, I don't agree with everything he does, but they're dealing with a migrant crowd with illegals flooding the streets of the south side of Chicago. They're flooding the streets in our beautiful airports. They're flooding it, right? They're flooding our police stations. I talked to a couple of officers. I'm not going to say from what district, but their morale with the police are down because these illegal people are deciding to flood our streets. They're criminals, and they are allowing to sleep on the floor. And I talked to some sisters and brothers that had to go boo-boo and asked the officer, can I use the restroom to boo-boo? The officer told them no, but now let's fast forward to 2023. They're able to not only boo-boo, but able to be in the lobby of these police stations. I guess they're really living up to the thing, serve and protect. They didn't do that for my black brothers and sisters that have been homeless forever. They couldn't sleep on the floor of the police station when it's cold and get a hot cup of coffee. They want to eat a donut too, right? So I'm just hurt a little bit, right? A whole lot I'm hurt because I don't like to see people, these politicians, playing football with people's future. And when you all seeing, because I'm talking to America right now, all over the country I'm talking to, in the world, that we as people need to march and continue to do our job and to vote these people out. And while they're in there, we need to show up and demand that they pass a law, a budget for the people. And see, this is what I want black folks to understand. I'm just not a spectator. You see me in City Hall. I'm going to go to the state capitol. I go there. Now, it is challenging going to these places because, number one, I'm a black man and I stand for blackness. And I ain't going to say no name, I told one alderman, I said, not only do I drag Cardi B and Nicki, But I also drag politicians. I drag you all more because you all control my future and my nieces and nephews' future and my aunts and uncles that live in this city. Okay? You can get it too. Now, I don't play no games. I'm a different type of guy. So when I walk in those spaces, it's a lot of judgmental, a lot of racism. It's a lot of big, powerful media companies that's in there, and they upset that I'm there, walking around asking questions. I don't care. Yes, you CBS, but I'm WILEY. I'm better than the C, the B, and the S because y'all ain't asking these politicians the questions that need to be asked. Okay? If I can't be asked the questions that I ask when you come in the hallway, you got to come outside and eat. I'm going to be right there. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What are you doing for black and brown folks? All right? And so I'm just saying, even with this government shutdown here, you got to be on it. And it's difficult to explain to people that are already going through mess, can't pay their bills, they can't buy deodorant, they can't get a clean pair of socks and shoes, and they're trying to find a good housing, safe housing. So they can't really focus on the government shutdown. Only time people is going to notice this government shutdown is when they can't get their food stamps application processed, when they can't get that Social Security check, if Medicaid run out, then that's when they're concerned about government. When you can't get the services, then, okay, let's complain while it's a government. I have talked to some producers, didn't even know it was government shutdown. Some producers that I've talked to on this show didn't even know that they're trying to impeach the president of the United States. They didn't know it. Well, they didn't know that until you said it. So I understand that I got power. Not only do I talk about Nicki, Cardi, and all these other weird people, but I'm talking about people that got power of your future. We got to talk about them too. We got to drag this man. Let me drag him for a second. All right. I want to go to Florida, not to Tasha K show because they ain't selling out. But I want to talk to this man, Matt. I got to get his phone number and talk to him. I want to talk to this man one-on-one. Because this man looked like he auditioned to be in the next Batman movie. He looked like the Joker. Evil. He looked like he the type of man, he don't give a darn. He one of them slimy lawyers that just take your entire inheritance, take your money, take your house, and then rent it back to you for $5,000.85. He's evil. Okay? That's an evil man. Just look at that nose. That the nostrils, plain old evil. This man is so evil. He is giving evil. He is something that should not be in the Congress. He need to be a slimy used car salesman. Okay? That's what he need to be, a used car salesman. So put him in the movie Matilda and let him play the father. Put him on a fat suit. He can do the Tubi version. Let me direct it. You're big, I'm small. Okay? And there's nothing that you can do about it. That's exactly, he needs to play in the Tubi version of the new Matilda movie and just give him a fat suit. That's what he needs to do, okay? But honestly, I personally believe that he is what I call evil for the working class and for those that ain't that's poor, okay? Put him in Matilda. I'm just saying because I know people ain't used to me dragging politicians, but they get dragged too. Okay, I already know he watching adult entertainment. You can tell he's stroking that chicken. You can tell. I know he's stroking it. He's seeing y'all struggle. That's how he get off. Destroying people and just jerking that chicken. It ain't big. It's probably small. I can tell it's small. I can tell it is small. Probably small. I can guarantee you. He probably jerking that chicken. Man, you look at that. You look at his news feed, his browsing history. Man. Under them aliens. He's stroking it. I can tell. I know it's small. Now, I just, me personally, I am just upset because, Congress have been a bad place for Americans for a long time. And when I looked at my credit report, some of my student loan debt was canceled. So we do want to say shout out to President Biden for that, right? Shout out to the Secretary of Education. But I'm looking at that, even though my debt have went down over $30,000 of it, I personally would say I'm still on the front lines because I ain't satisfied. All right? I ain't satisfied until this country, Congress, do for the working class so we don't have to continue to suffer under this system. I'm not satisfied until I'm able to have a beautiful investment portfolio, all right? A beautiful savings, retirement savings, so I can retire at the age of 40. I don't want to be 60, 85, still working. I want to retire at 40. I want to be able to wear me a nice suit, put this wig on. I want to look like I want to be able to speak, and I'm just wealthy. I want my hair slicked back. I don't want to retire at 70, 65. I want to retire at 40 so I can enjoy this amazing world. Now, personally, I'm saying it from the heart. I'm saying it from the heart. We as Black folks, not only should we participate in the political structure, but we should also, every time we call Walmart CEO. Now, who is the Walmart CEO? Give me a second here. Hold on. Oh, y'all didn't think I was going to do that? Ooh, y'all ain't going to think I was going to do that. What? Walmart CEO? What's his name? Doug McMillion? Is that his name? Is that his name? That's the CEO. Let's put his picture up here so they can see him. Is he the CEO? Let's get Doug on the screen here. Can we get Doug on the screen? Hold on one second, because people don't understand where I'm going to go here. Okay. Because we always talk, I talk to the people, and I was reading Bishop T.D. Jakes' book, The Disruptor. Okay. And I've been telling my people, talk to yourself. But Bishop said, not only should he was talking to some congressman, but it's the power beyond the power. Now, people don't know that this man is powerful in this country. Anytime that you own, give me a second. What in the world is going on with my thing here? I want people to see his picture. Y'all, excuse me. I want to make sure we can see his picture because I want y'all to see this man picture here. And I'm going to say the reason why I'm going the way I'm going here. Some of y'all may know where I'm going. But I want y'all to see his picture as well so y'all can see. All right. It's been a long time since I've been on here, but we go get it together. So this man that you all see on the screen here is the CEO of Walmart. That's the CEO. Okay? The reason why I'm putting this man on screen, this man, he's evil too, because a lot of Walmart employees are suffering. But anyway, he have power too to talk to Congress and tell them to pass a bill, because he employed a lot of people in Florida. He employed a lot of people in California. He employed a lot of people across this country and around the world. So not only should we contact all of these people, we should also contact this guy. Now, this guy, I got to say it, he evil, because it's a lot of people on welfare that work at Walmart. You know, all the people when you up there, they checking your ID and hello, sir, are you stealing, sir? They working at Walmart. That man right there. They working right there in Walmart, in the food stamp office. They right there, ringing you up. and you paying in cash, and they getting food stamps. They getting food stamps. So me personally, Walmart, the CEO there, I think he needs to be talking to, I think he needs to be calling them too. And why haven't the CEO of Walmart, Mr. Doug McMillion, Doug, brother Doug, why haven't you called brother Matt and the white wing Republicans, MAGA folks, and tell them to get that together? Why haven't you called them? Why haven't you called Matt and say, sir, pass the bill? Why are you not calling the speaker and telling Mr. Speaker, F that, work with some Democrats, get this bill passed? Do it, in my humble opinion. So people don't understand. That's the CEO of Walmart. Okay? Let's go. Who the CEO of Amazon? Wait a minute. Because Amazon getting sued. So let's go to CEO of Amazon. Okay. The CEO of Amazon. Okay, because even though the other guy, he stepped down. So let me go to the current CEO. Okay. Who is the current CEO? Andy. Is that his name? Andy. All these white folks. I ain't mad at them. Hey, it is what it is. Let's get him on there. They said don't call him brother. What? I can't call him brother. Look at black folks. They be getting mad when you call somebody brother. Brother Andy! Do we got Andy on the screen here? I want to get Andy on the screen so y'all can see these people. These people got power. And they ain't doing nothing with it. I will get these people on the phone, but I ain't got their number. I ain't got their number. But this is the man that's the CEO of Amazon. And he employed a lot. He have a lot of people he employed. Let's put him on the screen here. He employed a lot of people from Amazon. Sir, have you called while you delivering packages? Went to Congress and tell them to get their stuff together that we can't afford a government shutdown. You need to be a leader. You are the chief executive officer. So, chief, make sure you go there and you demand that Matt and all those MAGA, including Democrats, get their stuff together. All right? We should not be allowed to continue to go through it. Look at your hair. Well, we ain't going to worry about that hair sticking up. What we care about, are you going to stick up like your hair sticking up for these people that are breaking their backs for this country? Are you going to stand up for them, sir? Andy, you know I'm talking to you, Andy. Don't play with me, sir. I call people by their first name because traditionally back in the day, I had to say, yes, sir, Andy, sir. Did you hear me, sir? I'm free. So my ancestors say I can call you Andy. All right? I call you Andy. Then my ancestors, they sacrifice something. They go into the upper room and they really made sure that me as a black man can call you Andy. Now, I know you don't want to understand that, but I know you looking at me saying, why are you calling me Andy? But ain't that your name? It said right there on your shirt. Shout out to life. Now, I love to put a picture to those that are in power. Not only the Congress and the Senate, the judges, but also these CEOs. They are stakeholders in this country. And let's not even get to the board of directors and all of that and people that own and on the financial part. But I'm just giving you typical the two biggest employers of our country, Walmart and Amazon. Why haven't they done enough job calling Congress and demand that they do right for people? These are the working people. People that work for the federal government, some of them is not rich. They're living check to check. And this will harm them, seriously harm people that's on WIC with milk and different things that depend on these programs, and people with government housing programs and programs, period, they depend on the federal government. All right? So I believe that a budget should be passed immediately. Why should we go through a government shutdown and y'all still get y'all paycheck? And folks, if you get affected by that and you going through, don't complain to the Wiley Show. You complain to these politicians. They got the power. Only thing I can do is cry loud and spare not and expose the evilness of the Speaker of the House. Weak. He a beta. If he was a true alpha, put him on the screen. Look like he constipated. If he was a true leader, he would say, screw it. Let me work with the Democrats. Let me scream to the mountaintop and say, are we willing to work with the president and Democrats to get this passed and get you a couple of moderate Republicans? Sit down somewhere. Look how you looking. You weak. If I was the speaker, I would tell Matt in his face, sir, you out of order. I am the speaker. I am the HSIP, head speaker. Oh, I meant to say HSIN, head speaker in charge. Grow up, sir. You weak. You talk weak. Talk with some authority. Sit down with your foolish stuff. You're too weak. Come over here to the Wiley Show. I'll teach you how to be a beta. Alpha. I'll teach you how to get these people in order. You the boss. You sitting there weak. This is on you, Mr. Speaker. Now, if you need me to come and help you to be your chief of staff, hire me right now. I'll get it in order. I will pick the poorest white person with no teeth, the poorest black person out of all 8 districts, and I'll have them to testify about the effects of the government shutdown. You said now you're too weak. Where's Joe Biden? Stop sleeping. You need to be out on the street, echoing, doing press conferences. People is suffering. This ain't no time to be asleep. Kamala Harris, get your hair done. Slick it back. Put on your high heels and get out there and tell them to pass the bill. Apply that pressure. Ring the alarm. This ain't no time to be lazy. Wake up, Joe. You sleeping. And if this government shut down, you should not be re-elected as the president of the United States. Neither should Kamala Harris. There need to be an open seat. If this government shut down, President Joe Biden should not be re-elected. The Speaker of the House, this Speaker, he should not be re-elected. Neither should be re-elected. And any of the Democrats, if they don't get it done, they all should be fired and replaced. Fire them all and bring in a new group of people that want to work for Americans so we can all thrive and not suffer. This is an election year. Biden, you shouldn't get reelected if you can't get the job done. and stop at your front door. If this government shut down, you are a failure as the president. I'd rather get a criminal like Donald J. Trump to run it. Let him come back up in there. You ain't doing no better job. Now, you better be glad I ain't old enough to run. Better be so glad. Ain't you glad I ain't 35 yet? Fire them all and get some new people in there. Now, I'm saying it from the heart. From the heart. Matt, you are a piece of dog doo-doo. That's what you are. A piece of dog doo-doo. Because you are the scum of the earth. And Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you weak. Weak. And it's so hurtful to me, brothers and sisters, that in the Constitution, that piece of paper allows these people to still get a paycheck. Maxine Waters gonna still get a paycheck. Matt still get a check. All these, they still getting paid while you suffer. If you are a government employee, I'm praying for you, but not only am I praying, I'm working on your behalf because I'm speaking for you. I don't want to see you suffer. I don't want to see my people suffer, especially standing up for the black government employees, the black ones. I'm up to them. There's a lot of black government employees that live in check to check. Now, excuse me while I yell, but hey, government shutdown don't need to happen. This is an insult to people that sacrifice so much for this country. And so I'm going to move on because my blood pressure is getting high. Trump is no more criminal than the rest of them. He was a threat because he wasn't going alone to get along with the sellout of the U.S. So we're going to move on. I just want to say we're going to open up the phone lines, allow y'all to call in. All right? If y'all want to call in about this government shutdown. But see, I love to talk about these things because I was talking to my mentor. And I said, he said, you are speaking to the world. I said, I'm speaking to the world. He said, yes. I said, okay. Speaking to the world. And so I have the power of the microphone to tell what I got to say. See, I don't just talk about celebrities. I don't talk about them all the time. But what keeps me up at night is my nieces and nephews' future. That's what keeps me up at night. And this is why I work and sacrifice so much. So it makes the future Wally Jr.'s lives better and the future generation better. Being a disruptor, it causes you to be up at night, make sacrifices, learning and falling down. Like, I don't know anything about owning a business. I don't. I'm a new person. This wasn't the common spirit in my house, how to be an entrepreneur, but we knew how to be a thug. Not a good one, though, because half of them in prison. How to be a whore. Not a good one. You end up in babies and no man. How to be a drunk. How not to get help for your mental illness. That's what I grew up under. I didn't grow up under, well, yes, this is how you do your bottom line and the stocks in the bond. And Catherine, did you talk to the board of directors, having conference call with your staff and seeing secretaries and seeing people with degrees from Howard universities, degrees from Morehouse College? I didn't grow up in that environment. But I'm the first in my generation to know, what is the LLC? What is business credit? Hell, what is personal credit? How do you build it? So you answered simple questions because I don't know. So I'm learning now. I'm a baby. And if you're learning something that is foreign and brand new, I'm interesting because I'm interested. I was like, this is all brand new. So, and so when I get around other people, that's why I like getting around smart people. and I soak in that knowledge as much as I can and get into those environments. And so I can soak up as much knowledge. But when you are the first generation to go through that, it's difficult because you are you're coming in ill-equipped. But that don't mean it's impossible. It's that I got to do a little bit more legwork. Amen. So when it comes to this government shutdown, I have to speak about this and also encourage the entrepreneurs because we also need government. You cannot be an independent entity because you're going to be affected by government regulations with taxes and rules and laws. So you got to be aware of what's going on in the political spectrum because it affects your bottom line. And if your customers can't get a paycheck, that hurts your business. How can they give a super check? Ain't no checks coming in. So when you mess with my business, then Matt Gaston, I got to talk about your business. I got to talk about that uneven and that hair and that suit. I know it's funky. I know it is. It's nasty as it can be and wrinkled. So, because it affect me, because it's going to affect my potential customers. How can I ask for a cash out when they can't even buy a piece of bread? How can I ask them for PayPal when they can't pay their rent? So I have to speak up because it affects my viewers, which will affect or disrupt my bottom line. How you doing, Linda? Linda, are you in the building, Linda? I see you, Linda, listening. That's my Facebook girl. Now, I do politics in the area of legislation. Yes, we have to talk about it. And I'm not an expert in this. I'm learning just like how y'all learning. I try to watch as what I can watch and read what I can read. So I'm learning like everybody else. I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I'm not the dumbest. I'm not. Look at Walmart CEO. He white. What are you doing to help your poor white Walmart workers that are there? And what are you doing to help my black brothers and sisters? They suffering at Walmart. They ain't getting paid fairly. And I want to talk to the CEO. I want to talk to you, brother. I'm going to call you later. You better answer. Can you give me the number, Paul? Find his number. What's the email? I want to send him an email. I want y'all to send me an email. I want to send an email at Walmart. Send me an email. Now, that's what I had to say. Now, okay. Even people that look like us are part of the system. They deceive many with the black. Excuse me. Of course, they do deceive people. Even when you're black, we have seen it from time and time again. All right. Okay. All right. So let me put a poll up. I'm gonna put it on my community wall. Y'all bear with me because these allergies is going through. I took an allergy pill. Good God. I probably need an allergy shot. Once I got off that plane, the allergies came through me like a tsunami. I said, good googly. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my community wall. I want y'all to go vote. Give me a second. Put it on there now. You support government shutdown. All right. I'm about to do it now. And I want to do it on the community wall because it stay up on the community wall versus me doing it on the what's the name in the chat. I like it staying up because people get to see it. So y'all bear with me, you guys. And thank you to the producers for telling me to do that. And I'm going to do it right now. All right. Okay, there we go. Do you support the government shutdown? Comment and pick one. Thank you. Okay. They said, Wiley, do you do your deep voice exercise they are doing them to air trying to tell you? Oh, my deep voice exercise. Okay. I do my deep voice exercise. Absolutely. Yeah, I do my deep voice exercise. But I want to say to the people out there in the world, we cover shows and we talk about people, we talk about political stuff. And I see a lot of folks love the entertainment. They don't talk about the political spectrum. But I have to talk about it because that affects my bottom line, affects me as an American, and I'm an American. And I just don't want to be entertained. I also want to be informed. I want to be entertained and informed at the same time. I want to be entertained and informed at the same time. Thank you, Bougie Barbie, for that $10 super sticker. Love to see that coming through. All right. Now I want to see where this poll is going to be at. Make sure y'all go vote right now. Already the poll is up. Let me screen share. Oh, okay. I will. I got some tea and everything too. We gonna get through it, but I have to do this show because I'm a business owner. Sometimes you got to work through afflictions. All right. All right. But we got the poll up on the wall right now. As you all can see, there you go. There you go. Okay. I want to see where that poll is going to be at. And we're going to revisit that. Now, we're going to switch gears here. We're going to switch gears here. Uh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. What in the world is this doing? Oh, what the world? Okay. All right. All right. The Bronx nail owner. I want to make sure I put her. I want to put her picture up here. So y'all bear with me while I get a picture of Cardi B up here. I want people to see who I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of her. So y'all bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. Bear with me. I want y'all to see her. All right. Okay. And that's the national poll there. Because we want to make sure that that is good. Bear with me, y'all. Oh, okay. I had a good picture of her. Is this the one? Oh, that was a good picture. Whatever one pop up. Oh, that's the one. Okay, so this is a picture of Cardi B. And, you know, Cardi, I never met a well. First of all, I'm tired of rich folks asking us poor people to donate to a cause. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of going to a store. I'm barely making ends meet, and you ask me for a donation for kids of the Children's Hospital. I ain't got it. Why you, Cardi B, have the audacity? If you have not heard, her nail tech that does her nails, her salon burned down, and she did not transfer her insurance on the new place. Jenny, okay? She moved into this new location and it burned down. Now, many of my sources is saying that Nicki Minaj husband Goons had something to do with it. Nicki Minaj probably she's a bad woman, bad person, thug. Probably told her husband to tell those thugs that was outside to get a match and destroy it. Probably. And so when I put it out there, the Nicki Minaj followers and everybody was calling my phone, threatening me. But I don't care. I believe Onika told that husband to tell them thugs to go whoosh and put fire to the bricks of that nail salon. I believe that she told him. Now, that's my core belief. I can't prove it, but it can't stop me from believing. I believe she did it. Fire! Fire! I believe it. And I believe that Nicki got her hands on this situation. Now, I'm not the only one with this theory, but they have posted it all over the internet. Everybody was saying that Nicki did it, but once I go live, it's a problem. Sit down with your stupid self. And I tell these barbs, I tell these barbs, if you feel froggish, hit the link. Let me tell you, they never want to hit the link because they look bad. And they take it up the bread basket. You know I ain't going to receive that well. And it stank. I dropped the link. There you go. I'm tired of you talking about Nicki. Well, I'm tired of you listening and complaining. I can talk about who I want to talk about. Are you mad that I'm talking about Congress and the government shutdown with your stupid self? No. You don't even know if it's got to be shut down. I can talk about what I want to talk about. You don't control my throat. You can't control it. I believe Mrs. and Mr. Patty did it. Now what? Tell her to sue. Now, first of all, it's going to be a stupid lawsuit, stupid woman. I believe she did it or told somebody to do it. I believe she did it by the words and allegedly told somebody to do it. I believe it. And if you upset and mad at me, be mad at your mama. Don't be mad at me because I'm giving my opinion. And you crazy people get mad because this is my First Amendment, freedom of speech. I should be able to say what I want to say. Can't get mad at me because I'm talking the way I'm talking. I do my show the way I want to do it. And if you mad, then go get you a tripod and do your own show. You can't get mad at me. I'm doing what I'm doing my own way. You can't get mad at that. You can't get upset about that. Do you understand? Do you understand? And I have to keep it real. And I'm not going to stand by and let you dictate my emotions. Now, let's get to Cardi B. She's trash. Yeah, she's trash. How in the world you got hair that is more than my shoes and more than my twisted brace and leg? Your nails is more than my shirt. Your dress you got on more than my haircut. You mean to tell me that you want to put out a GoFundMe because she raised it? Tell her community to raise it. Tell her to call China and tell them to give her the money. They going to Africa. Tell her to build her a new one. She got a whole country she can call. Call President Wuhan or President Juan. Call him. How many times the Chinese restaurant been selling us egg rolls, egg foo young, shrimp fried rice, Chinese chicken wings? They got the infrastructure. Tell them to call our people. She can get a better loan than my black behind cat. I ain't going no GoFundMe. You sad and pathetic to give me that GoFundMe. You must have been sniffing that stuff that Wayne on. For me, you think I'm going to be donating to a GoFundMe and you got money in the bank. It ain't my fault that you sued Tasha K for $4 million. You got to beg her to get it back. You ain't got it back. That ain't my fault. Man, you got money. You spent $2 million for bangos and it flopped. I didn't want to say it, but it did flop. It didn't go number one. It didn't give you that WAP effect. It slipped down the charts. It ain't my fault that you put $2 million in that video. You should have put $2 million by coming on the Wiley Show, and we would have made it win viral. It didn't win #1. It flopped because you didn't work with Brother Wiley. It's going to continue to flop. Everything you think about is going to crumble if you don't come on the Wiley Show and to promote it. It flopped because you ain't come on the Wiley Show. You ain't come on this show. That's why it flopped. You should have came on this show and came and sit beside me. You went to a white man, ate some fried chicken and hot sauce, and still flopped. It's insulting. I'm a black man. I work hard for this show. And for you to sit with a white man, eat some fried chicken and hot sauce, and you don't come to my show, that's why your nail salon lady price is crumbling. That's why you slip down the charts, because you are not a true ally of the black race. Come to my show and you would have succeeded. Come to my show, it would have been a success. It would have went #1. All right? So that's what I'm saying. You acting like we poor, we ain't got it like you. I don't have it like you. I don't have a staff and a driver. I wish I had a driver that drive me, security. You got a big old thing in your kitchen where you can make love on there. That's huge. I don't know what they call it, like kitchen counter or something, but it's huge, built, expensive. And you asking me for a GoFundMe? Please. Then you gonna delete the post because you stupid. Why in the world would you put a GoFundMe page out, understand that we're going back on the brink of a government shutdown? We're in a silent depression. We're going through financially, a lot of us. And you going to ask us for money because her stupid behind did not put insurance on her ass? That's on Mrs. Wuhan. That's on her. That's on her. What's her name? Jenny? That's on Jenny. She should have called Allstate. She should have called Aflac. She should have called Geico. Who to worry about? You think I'm about to do that because she was dumb enough not to put insurance on her property? That's her. Think I'm about to go ahead and give you some money? You can give the money right now from your breast basket job, that rack on your chest, them lips that ain't yours, all them filters and surgeries. Go ahead and give her that money and so she can rebuild. Don't come to us and give you nothing. We didn't give you enough. I bought your album. You better take it out of that. I bought Bangles that flopped. You better take it out of that. I told Oprah the same thing. I told Oprah Winfrey, she gonna go up there with Dwayne Rock Johnson asking us for money in Hawaii. You got all that land. Sell some of the acres of land and give the people in Hawaii. It ain't my fault that it's going through. They better call the government. Don't come to us. Dwayne Rock, do you smell what Wiley is cooking? Yes! I'm telling you, Brother Rock, you trash for standing up there with your stupid self. With all them steroids, that big old wide chest. Asking us for money. You got it. How many times I went and bought your merchandise? Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Yes! A bunch of mess. No, I'm not going out there paying you nothing. I'm not donating. They better call their Congress people in Hawaii. They better call the president, FEMA, the Department of Defense, Department of Education, Department of Agriculture. Don't you ask me for a damn dime. I ain't got it. And if I did, I still won't do it. That ain't my responsibility. Now, Oprah put it out there and Cardi B, stop that. Now release that album, Cardi B. You used to have big, thick eyebrows. Now you cutting up your eyebrow. I don't know what's going on. You're going through a crisis. It's all right. But again, you ain't come on this show. You went to a white man, ate some hot sauce. So you don't care that they're going on black shows. Made me no difference. That ain't my fault. Okay, that she forgot to turn off the shrimp fried rice in the kitchen and it burned down. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. You was in there boiling some Wuhan soup and you forgot to turn the stove off. It ain't my fault. Anyway, so I got to go. I'm upset. I got to go. Somebody just hit me up about the government shutdown. One of my subscribers, they said, Wiley, this is my 4th time going through a shutdown. So very sad for her. This is very sad. But that's how that goes. Now we're gonna open up the phone lines. If y'all want to call in, I'm done today because we got to get ready for the town hall that's going to start at 8 p.m. East Coast time, 7 p.m. Central. So again, I want to post that on the screen so you all can see that we're doing a town hall tonight, 7 p.m. on Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. That will be live. Is child support evil for the black man? This is a town hall. We ask you to participate, ask your questions, come on the panel. I've got a couple of panelists coming on, myself. We got a pastor. We got Brother Don. I believe we got 2 other panelists on. I'm not 100% sure for that. But again, that's going to be tonight at 7 p.m. On Central. If you on the East Coast, that's 8 p.m. If you over there on the East Coast, that's where it's going to be. So we ask you all to come back on YouTube, see us, get your drinks, and come on over here for that town hall meeting that's going to take place tonight. So we ask that you all come on through and show love if you all can. Come through tonight. That's at 7 p.m. live, 7 p.m. And that is what we're going to have. And we're going to ask you all to be there. And it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully y'all come through. Now, back to the government shutdown a little bit. I'm going to go to the poll here and show y'all where we at on the poll. And give me a second here. I want to see where we at for the poll here. We are at 87%. Now only 45 people voted. Let's see. I believe that's it. Only 45 people voted. That's where the poll is at. That's where the poll is at. 45 people. Now I'm going to open up the phone lines. Okay. You say you don't see the poll. The poll is on the community wall. The poll is on the community wall. If you can go to your homepage, go to the Wiley Show page and click on community, and you all can vote at this very moment. You can click on community. You can click on community. You can click on the community tab and you can vote at this very moment. We ask that you come through and vote. Click on the community tab, COMMUNITY. You can make your voice heard. Click on the community, COMMUNTY, the community tab at this very moment. Okay, and I want to hear you all thoughts. Now, we do have the phone lines open up at this very moment. The phone lines is open up if you want to make your presence known at this very time. Moderators, if you all can drop the number in the chat here, and we have the phone line open if anybody want to give their opinion. The phone lines is open. So Okay. Someone said, I'm surprised so many people said yes. Why did you people who say yes, if you don't mind me asking? I think a lot of people voted yes because number one, they don't know the effects of that until it happened. People, it's so many other reasons. I can't speak for everybody, but wow, why did you? You could call in if you want to call in. That is the number. All right. But we thank you very much. Uh, give me 1 second. Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, give me 1 second, ma'am. Hold on 1 second, so they can hear you. Good. How are you doing today? You doing okay?
Do I sound too loud? I don't know. I'm asking you because I don't want to be too loud.
Oh man, you sound wonderful.
Well, thank you, honey. Thank you.
Yes. So, what do you have to say about this government shutdown?
Man, it's some bull crap. I don't think I can curse up here, but I want to. But I don't want you to be demonetized.
I can't be demonetized, especially if government shutdown. People ain't hardly sending no donations. Donations been down a little bit.
Man, it's some bullshit, man. You know it is, Wiley.
It's of course it is. Of course, I agree.
What in the hell, man?
It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot.
What can we do? We got to do something. I mean, we got to do something, Wiley. This is going too far, you know?
I think also for those people that live in Florida, you need to protest and demand and tell Matt everywhere he go, it's government shut. Do your job. Do your job. Go to DC. Go on to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people need to realize we can go to these spaces. We can protest. We can organize. We can write letters. We can demand that President Biden use this pulpit, his bully pulpit, I may say so myself, and do a press conference and talk and demand and go to these districts and say, hey, this is going to affect you with government employees. Go there talking to these people in those districts. And then also, too, a lot of people realize that this is hurting people that's on government assisted programs, or if you need to process an application, this is a lot of different things that are going on. And then we got a lot of brothers and sisters in armed forces that need their paycheck, that live on that paycheck. I believe on the 1st and the 15th, I believe they get paid twice a month. That depends on those paychecks.
Yes, this is going to affect everybody, whether you working for the government or whether you get assistance or whether you just thinking you don't need the government. This is going to affect everybody. It all spills down, you know. Yes.
Yeah, so I agree. And that's something I think that we as people need to be more informed about this, because I think people need to understand that it is power in that Congress, like that system, that branch of government is powerful. If they don't want to do right, it can mess up how the country is run.
Right. Well, like we don't vote the president in, but we do vote for the little sections of the local government. And those are the people that put the president and stuff in there. Of course,
like Congress,
that's what we've been taught. I honestly think they choose who they want way before. But this is
different districts.
Yeah,
it's all in different. When you're a representative, you represent your district, and those districts have like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. So we need to understand that they have a lot of influence. And if one congressperson say no or not participate, that's affecting the entire country, even though you represent a district. Technically, you're representing America, because if you are not participating by voting no or stopping it, it hurts the entire country. It hurts people, especially those that are dependent upon the government for their help. And also for those that are have to, speak about the children here. A lot of them were able to get help to pay for daycare costs because of the laws, because it was some money lay aside in the budget. But now that money is going to run out because the government cannot, they cannot fund it. They said no. Even some of the Republicans said no to a temporary spending bill that could keep the government open for the next 30 days. They said no to that as well.
And you see, they still trying to fund Ukraine. I saw that in the bill. They still trying to get them $6 billion, but I think they're going against that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. They're still trying to fund billions, not millions, but billions of dollars to Ukraine.
But yeah, I think that this country always have been given money, but it's a reason why they do it though. And see, I'm not an expert of world affairs, and there's so many different perspectives, but I understand why they want to do it. I get it. I think America is doing that to stop him from dominating because it will not stop China from taking Taiwan or their country. They think that's their. They think, oh my God, I'm going to take that country. So I get what America is trying to do. They don't want.
It's imperialism. I think they're fighting to keep their system from crashing in this imperialism, but
and then also
it's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. And then also I think that it's because let's look at the budget period. Like we're talking about what they're going to send to Ukraine, but look at the money they're sent to other countries, though.
Right. Right. And we don't know it, but when we go to the supermarket, when you go to the supermarket, Wiley, you paying a tax on you pay a tax on your food and don't even know it a lot of times because it's going over to Israel for the Jews and stuff.
So it's a lot.
They give them billions and billions.
So it's a lot of, and I always ask the question, why? So again, that's why I'm taking it's like some courses on history or world affairs, because I want to understand, why do America send money to other countries? It got to be a reason. So I'm not an expert in that. So I'm actually going to bring somebody for a university that can speak on that. Why do we do it? Because it's a reason. Right. It's a reason. I don't think you just give them we're just going to give it.
Allies and stuff. They want allies and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I think, because that's what I'm thinking. You have to.
You have to pay people that just like they get paid. Think about it. If you want a politician to do something for you, a lot of us don't realize this, but Claude Anderson, he wrote a book about it. You have to pay these people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just march and rally. They want money. These politicians are paid, so they know they got to get paid to do what they're going to do. So they have to pay other countries, I think, to ally with them and all this kind of stuff. It's money and power.
And it's always been about, money. It's about the race of world domination. Everybody want to be number one. Everybody want to dominate. It's a competitive nature, and who suffer? We as a citizens, as regular. We've been trying to do this. We ain't thinking about, because that's don't keep us up at night. How to control this country? We don't ain't thinking about that. We're thinking about is my children good? Is I'm healthy? Can I afford to pay my bills? That's the average American, right? That's even thinking about investment, but we can't even think about that when we got our own personal little crises that are taking over our lives. And this is just it's an insult to injury when you're just having a shutdown because people is already trying to recruit back from the pandemic and they still haven't, and yet you're dealing with it, and you're still dealing with from the pandemic. You're still getting people getting viruses from that pandemic, and you still that as well. So that's not over. And so then you're still dealing with a lot of people is suffering, a lot of people going on strikes. Some people have called this the silent depression, where people are just suffering. And the people in the government don't want to say it, admit it. But people are, even if people are working, a lot of people can't even pay their rent because rent is just out of control. It's taking up most of people's income. And then when you pay your rent, you broke. And then some people can't even.
Wally, you ain't lying. You see how rent has went in the last few years.
Rent is just crazy. It's so crazy that people is like, oh my gosh, you almost got to work 50, 60, you almost got to make $50 to $60 an hour just to survive in some parts of this country. You talk about New York, Jersey.
Man, don't even talk about New York. Oh, no.
California, the rent is just out of control. And there's so many working homeless people that work regular jobs, living in their cars. They're living in their cars because they can't afford rent. They don't make 3 times, 4 times. You almost got to make $10,000 or $20,000 a month to afford some of these. And then some landlords want you to make 4 or 5 times more than the rent.
Yeah, when I get a place, I got to make 3 or 4 or 5 times more than the rent, Wiley.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult for people for that. And that's why I have to tell our folks, we got to get our credit in order. We got to start owning properties, because it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It is insulting that people that's paying a mortgage is paying way less than people paying rent.
It look like we're gonna have to go back to living to what they did in the old days. The families living together too. A lot of people don't want to do that, but
we gonna have to go back to that.
But it ain't gonna be. It's the only way they're gonna make it. Cause think about it, the way. Yeah.
Great. I
Shoot.
on that. I tell my mom all the time, we have to get back into that group economics, and a lot of folks are doing it in Florida. I saw some stories where they rent out a 2-bedroom and 6 people are sharing the rent.
Right.
7 people. So people are doing it already. Like they'll get a 1-bedroom apartment, about 5 or 6 people living in that.
Right. That's the way to do it, Rob Wiley. If you want to make it and you're not rich, because that's what them other cultures do. And look how it work out for them. They got making $10 an hour and everybody chipping in. All them people. They be living good. I be looking like, damn, they splitting the gas, they splitting the rent, the light bill. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. That's exactly what they're doing. So it's so good that you're talking about this, but it needs to be talked about. Thank you so very much for calling in, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Wiley. Love you. Thank you. Love your show.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right, honey.
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bye-bye.
The phone lines is open. People are calling in. The number is 926749462 is the number. If you got something to say, this is the time to say it. Let's actually get another person on the phone line here. Okay, hello, you live on the air.
Hi, Wally. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something real quick. All right. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Go ahead.
Yes, I can.
Okay, go ahead.
I was calling about the shutdown. I do support the government shutdown.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I feel that Democrats are refusing to take that Ukraine money, that $6 billion in Ukraine money out. And this is one of the sticking points that Republicans have about signing a new bill to keep the government going. And I feel like if the Democrats want to be stubborn and not think about their people, then, shut the government down. That is harsh, but I don't think at this point we should be giving away money that we need for like victims in Hawaii. We have this migrant crisis where migrants are getting more than us. We have a whole lot of people that's homeless, that they need funds, they need resources. So how can we give $6 billion away to Ukraine, a country that's not even a part of NATO, and we don't help American citizens?
Mm-hmm. Well, me personally, I just think, forget it. I just think Republicans are in charge at this very moment. If you don't want to do $6 billion, don't give them at all. Don't give them nothing. Just let Russia take over, China take over theirs. We would just be in another war in which we would be paying more than $6 billion. So
I don't think it'll be a war. I don't think it'll be a war.
I think that honestly, what many people are their biggest fear is, if Russia is emboldened to take Ukraine, what will stop them from taking the next one or the next one?
Well, so the thing with the history with that is Ukraine was always a part of Russia. They allowed them to have that little country. Just don't get in NATO. That was the whole thing. Don't get in NATO. Don't court America around our borders, because America is trying to box Russia in. So really, is America doing what they're doing? That's why America's giving the most money. If you look at the data, America's giving more money than any European countries that depend on Russia for oil.
Right.
Those countries are suffering, and they're giving very little money to Ukraine to help right now for this war that they're funding. Yep. But America's giving the most. Why? What interest do America have in a country that's not even a NATO-seeking, NATO-sitting country?
Right, and I don't have all the answers, but I can tell that America have always been one of the biggest contributors of NATO outside of England.
And this is one of the things Trump tried to change, yes. and I agree with him 100% with that.
I agree with him on
and we cannot afford to just give money away, because we as citizens, and we have to start standing on principle now. My husband and I, we work. My husband owns a business. I work on the clock. we're struggling. So I can only imagine we are a family that's considered middle class, upper middle class, and we're struggling.
But can
His business is slowed down.
Temporary, like if you're speaking about the struggle part, and I'm sorry that you're going through that, but with this budget, should they just pass for me? Let's compromise it. We don't want a go. It will hurt, especially Black folks. So why not have a temporary spending bill until they can come to a debate about the money of Russia? You mean
but see, this was a temporary spending bill. Didn't they start? They do something like maybe 90 days ago, or
they did do
6 months ago.
I just personally believe they say if that number is just too much, then maybe to keep some people out, let's do half of that, or
no. We've given billions over the last 3 years that this war been going on. It's enough. If they haven't won this war in the last 3 years, and the billions that we've given is enough. That's enough. It's time to cut the cord.
I would honestly say it would hurt people with children, because the average people don't care nothing about who's given to Ukraine. But what they do care about, if I can't afford to bring my babies to daycare, what do those families do?
Now, that is where I feel like they should be sitting down compromising right now. Because if you're going to shut the government down, you should be cutting checks for those people that will work. If you're going to have a whole hard line on that, right now, today, people that get government checks like their Social Security, you should have that money today. If you are receiving food stamps, you should have those food stamps today. If you are, if like the federal government pay for like Section 8 housing, that stuff comes from the federal government, your payment should be in today. That should be the compromise. But everything else, I think that at this point, you have to cut Ukraine off. The government needs to stop giving away our money.
Let's be clear about Republicans, though. Out of in recent history, most of the government shutdowns were led by Republicans, from Clinton all the way down. When you really look at it, Republicans, when they're in power, they can't come on one accord, because the Republican Party is not as unified as we think. It is a separate
parties are unified.
I'm speaking more so about I'm talking about them in power, right? They couldn't even pick their speaker. It took them a long time to pick their speaker. That really haven't happened in the last century. So Republicans have failed the country. Let's just keep it a step.
The problem with Republicans is they don't have a realistic expectation of what should be happening in the country.
They don't have
with Republicans
a plan. They don't have a plan.
And this is why they fail every time. But then the Democrats piss me off, because now last election I voted for a Democrat. I will not do that this time. First of all, Joe Biden is too old. My mother is in her 80s and she's going through stages of dementia. This man, please, you're too old. You need to get out the office. It's like Democrats are not thinking. Y'all can have control if you do what's right. And that doesn't mean giving money away to everybody. That doesn't mean letting every immigrant in this country. For once, y'all have to start thinking about what's good for the people. That doesn't mean we should
be about the immigrant. If they shut down the government, they ain't gonna be able to fund the border patrol. They really gonna flood us.
Okay, but that's all right, because they letting them in here with border patrol. Biden is doing the right thing by getting the National Guard down there.
But I personally believe, though, it needs to be comprehensive. And see, this is the thing about Republicans. They say this, that sounds good. But what is the comprehensive immigration bills have they proposed? They is in charge. The Republicans,
Riley, we know that they are failures. Everybody knows
what I'm saying is here. They need to come out. If you feel like they flood in our country, obviously, from most presidents, they have always tried to fix this immigration problem. What are they proposing so it can cease? What are you proposing? I honestly believe that we need to see why they're coming here. Number one, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's investment, whether the lack of investment, whatever. These are our neighbors. They're close to our country. what are we doing? And honestly, if we're sending, to be honest, I believe we need to be sending more investments to over there so they don't have to come here versus them living here versus them they have work visas, etc. Or because some jobs they do work that typically that we are just not going to try to do that unless you probably paying some black folks $90, $100 an hour to work on the farm. I mean, they tried it in Florida. They try that and have regular Americans to do that type of job, and they don't want to do it. So that's just a cold fact that it's not too many of our people want to be in a hot sun on a farmland picking something. I don't see too many.
But that's okay.
So
that is okay. That's a different thing, having a work visa versus you coming in the country illegally.
But that's all depends on the laws, though. The laws have to change, and the way our system is, it have to be reworded, I believe. And also a lot of Republicans, the Speaker of the House, they say, hey, let's work. You have, see, this is the thing. A true leader has to compromise. We can't have everything. You can't, just like a marriage. You can't. Somebody gonna have to be wise and compromise and sit at the table. Unfortunately, this country, because it's just not there. Everybody is like, and you know who's suffering after they get through all of this bickering? Okay, it's a shutdown. They still get their paycheck. It's in the Constitution that they still get paid. That Congress still get their paycheck. Was not in the Constitution until they fund it. Regular Americans that depend on that system until they get their stuff together. So that's what I don't like. And when people finally realize that they can still get a paycheck, because people don't believe that, they're still going to get their checks. And who's not? The regular or the low on the tolling pole, they're not going to get their paycheck. So,
and these are the things that they should be discussing right now,
and
making sure people get paid.
Yes,
you have police, you have fire, you have retired individuals, you have seniors, you have people that has federal housing stipends. This is what we should be discussing, because if we can't agree on that spending bill to keep the government going, okay, let's make sure our people get paid. And this is the failure of both parties. They're not being leaders. And that's number one. Number two, in my opinion, if you want to control immigration, it always got to follow the money. America, like you said earlier, gives money to a lot of countries. Some of those countries are these Hispanic countries. You need to stop. If you're sending all your people over here, you're not controlling your borders. America's not stop sending the money there, because obviously we need the money to take care of the people that you're letting come in this country, because those countries are not, for one, making sure that their people have jobs, making sure that their people can at least eat, making sure that their people have running water. If you are so corrupt in government, even after receiving subsidies from other countries, and you're not making sure that your people have, then America needs to stop sending, because we send a lot of foreign aid. We need to keep that money in-house, because we're taking care of their people. So the millions of dollars that you're sending, 30 million, 40 million, it needs to stay here. And then I guarantee you those countries will start taking a hard look at what they're doing and how they can keep their people in the country, because they need that aid.
I agree.
So there are things that can be done, but once again, Democrats fail in every aspect of things, and you're hurting your people. It's not just Republicans. Democrats are hurting their own people.
I would say honestly, in the Congressional Black Caucus, they got the smoke, because they got it. A lot of videos went viral because people, especially Black folks, they are rising up. And we could just look at the data here. And I've been screaming this on the rooftop, that Black men are leaving the Democrat Party. They're going to vote Republican. Started at Dallas mayor. Now he switched from Democrat to Republican. So Democrats, they are dealing with a crisis already, that they're losing their most dedicated voting bloc. And once Black men shift and go, you got to worry about Black women. You cannot win without the Black men vote. You can't win. You got to have Black men and women. So if they don't handle this, if it's a government shutdown plus the migrants flooding from the southern border states to Chicago, California, New York, it's going to hurt Biden in 2024. before. Now they're saying, and we was here when mayor knows this, the mayor of the city, they know this. They're going to ship more buses the week of the DNC, and that's going to be held at the United Center. So they want as much confusion and drama because it already, the honeymoon stage with Mayor Johnson is over. Now his own black allies in City Hall saying, brother, we don't need this to be a sanctuary city. How about we put it on the ballot to erase this whole idea of a sanctuary city? So now you're seeing people, and the reason why you got a lot of black aldermen are getting a backbone, why? Because they residents are showing up to the meetings. Not only the residents, but these owners that own stuff in there showing up. You got people from Brandon Johnson West Side. They got migrants living in some of the office space. He just remodeled a space there to have cards and different type of stuff there for his customers. It's going to be bad because now they're housing some of the migrants there. So it's a problem that Mayor Johnson is dealing with, a crisis that he's dealing with that he didn't ask for, that he inherited. But now that Mayor Johnson's going to have to demand from once again, going to go back to Congress. They got the purse. You got to talk to people with the purse. It's not because the state, once that money run out, they got to go talk to the purse holders. And the purse holders is Congress. You don't get no money. All that all comes from the federal government. So until we demand that Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus, every sector of Congress plus every sector of the Republican Party, tell them both that they have failed, because when we did a poll, and CNN have done it too, Congress is just the most least popular block in government. It's like 10%. It was low. They don't care about Congress like that anymore because they have failed American citizens for the last 20 years, probably longer than that.
Yeah,
they have failed.
I believe all these elected leaders need to be out. Start from the old ones and move on up to the ones that's arguing about absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And then the ones that's extremely left, all this Trump crap. Trump this, Trump that. No, our government is not about one person. Our government needs to be about the people. And we need to do what's best for the people. So I believe every last one of them from both parties should be voted out. If you are coming up for a re-election this year, after all this crap, the fires in Hawaii, the migrant crisis, the homelessness, this inflation, we just getting hit from all sides, and you guys are arguing about sending $6 billion to Ukraine. No, you know what? Give me some of that money because I can use it.
Yeah,
cancel all these student debt. I can use that as well. That'll help me.
Absolutely, it will help a whole lot of people, and that's why we have to understand that the government, us as what we're doing now, is so effective because they want us stay on Cardi, talk about the nails. They want us to just talk about foolish things.
Foolishness.
But even musical artists though are suffering because a lot of them got to sell their catalogs. Money ain't coming in like that. Tours ain't selling like that. So again, you still got to deal with what's going on in the system. If it is affecting your fans financially, it's going to affect you in your pockets because they ain't gonna bet about it.
It's affecting every part of life. And I know a government shutdown is harsh. My own mom, she receives Social Security. I know it's harsh. My husband, his job, his government is tied into his job heavy. But at some point, we have to get somewhere and start taking a stand. I'm affected in both ways, like my mom, but she won't get her check. My husband, his work is going to slow down. And in this economy, nobody can afford to be without. But can we really continue to send $6 billion to a country who's been fighting a war for 3 years and they can't win? Obviously, y'all can't win. And here's another thing. If this man is such a leader of his country, lead your people out of that situation that you put them into. If you didn't have the money to fight that war, then you shouldn't have started it with Putin. You shouldn't. The man, it wasn't like he was waging war on you from the start. That war started because you felt like, oh, I want to court America in NATO. It's just a whole drama behind that didn't have to be. and you put your people in a dangerous situation. You put your people in a situation where now they're losing their life over a senseless war. And Putin, they tried to sink his economy, take all his money. This man is thriving. This man is thriving. Meanwhile, America, we in inflation, our money is going down, our credit rating is going down. The people in the country, we are suffering behind all this inflation. But oh no, let's keep giving money to Ukraine and let's give money to everybody but the citizens. Let's do everything but fix this inflation problem. That $6 million you want to give, pay that to get some of this inflation down.
Yeah, Social Security, they will still receive their paycheck, but the issue is in this system is with what got me looking at the government shutdown is like the tax for the children, right? That were able to afford to get some type of daycare services because of government programs that was in the budget. So if once that's gone, that's going to hurt unemployment because a lot of daycares were able to open, hire employees. If they don't get that subsidies from the government, that money, they're going to have to shut down, raise their prices. And then when you raise your prices, the people can't afford it without government help. So if you ain't getting government help, you're going to be out of business.
And that's a shame. And I go back to my point. This is what the government should be sitting down, having a weekend discussion about. Because again, if you're not going to agree on that, you need to make sure that things are funded the day before. So if you have to issue early payments, you issue those early payments so people can have their money.
Absolutely.
But once again, it's a failure on the government, both sides, and failure on Biden because he's the president. You are failing the people because you should be having these discussions for Congress. Y'all need to free up money. You need to figure out what emergency declarations you can sign to get money freed up so that people can get money. Y'all giving it to these daggone immigrants. Y'all need to put the same calculations in effect and give it to the people, and they should have their payments today. If today is the last day of the month, you should have the payments today. That's what needs to happen. Instead of y'all sitting up there talking about well, I'm going to do this, and no, I'm not. Is this one's fault? Is that one's fault? No. Talk about how you could continue to fund this government or give the people some early payments, and then, you don't have to give them a whole lot. If you're going to shut the government down for a couple of days, pay the people for a week, pay the people for 2 weeks, but figure out how to keep some money going for the people that need the money. You can't expect people to work, but you don't want to pay them. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Thank you, man, for calling in.
All right, Wiley, you have a good day.
All right, now you too. All right, the phone, the phone lines is open. 972-674-9462 is the number. If you want to call in, that is the number. 972-674-9462. If you have something that you want to say, this is the time to say it. All right. 972-674-9462. I think I had somebody to call in. Oh no, I called them back already. Wait, I gotta call them back. No, somebody called in when I called them back. Let's see. All right, because it do this. Hello? It's ringing. Hello? I can hear it ringing. Hello? 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 I can hear. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I couldn't hear the other caller that called in. Okay, go ahead.
So, Wiley, I do want to start off by saying kudos to you because I was not aware of the government shutdown before you had mentioned it.
Wow.
And I'm still researching. And I love that you bring these type of platforms and discussions to the community because we really need to have these type of discussions. And we need to get every perspective when it comes to these topics. For me, I personally, this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm personally for the shutdown in regards to the fact that I think this will bring some type of awareness that government reliance for Americans and citizens, that it should not be abused and excessively dependent on. I think there are a lot of people out here who are waiting every month, whatever day that the benefits drop, for their AFDC, for their EBT, for their what is it? TANF, I think is TANF. I don't even know. It's exclusive to Texas, I believe. But all of these benefits are not to be used as if this is your income and your sole income. We have to realize that there should be some type of upward mobility for a lot of the women and the men, because women aren't the only ones that are dependent on this. But let's be real, this was rolled out to the women primarily in the 70s with LBJ. This had ill intent from the beginning with the Democratic Party. And I love that you bring up that Black men are crossing over, because they realize that this is an attack on the Black family. However, we all know, present day 2023, that a lot of white families are dependent on it too. But this was something that they tried to control throughout the 80s, when they were realizing that the deindustrialization of the country, with GE and other corporations moving offshore and taking jobs to Mexico, to India, to wherever else, any third world country, who would do it for a fraction of what they would pay us in the factories along the Rust Belt and the Bible Belt. So this was something that was trying to be controlled for a long time, but it could not be controlled, and thus we have what we have today. Blacks and whites and Hispanics, what have you, on these programs. However, this assistance was to be targeted towards the Black community. And I think they've done a very successful job at it. And as much of a disgrace and incompetence that Biden is to allow this to happen, I think this will open the eyes of a lot of people to realize that this isn't the solution to your problems. You have to have more going on for you. I'm not saying to go out there and be a doctor, an attorney, because not everybody is destined for that six-figure lifestyle, for all of that schooling. You know, we're talking about 6-8 years of schooling, pre-med and all of that, and JD and whatnot. So I understand that not everybody will have that type of ambition. Mm-hmm. I myself did not go down that route either, but I am a Black woman, and I realize that the government assistance and the welfare programs have done a lot of detriment to the community. It has done far more harm than it has good. I understand that there are certain situations where us women, or whatever the situation is, men are on the assistance too, but it is primarily used by women. Let's be honest. That, you know, we are on these programs, and it's completely valid when we are on these programs. But when you get to that 3-year mark, it starts to get a little iffy. It starts to get a little, you know, you start to realize that, you know, she might not be trying to change her situation. She's kind of getting stuck in her ways, and, you know, she's completely comfortable with the assistance that she's given. Then you hit that 5-year mark, then a 10-year mark, and she's completely living off the system. And that in itself is an issue for Black women and women regardless. It doesn't matter if she's in Appalachia, doesn't matter if she's in LA, whatever the case may be. But we do know that although primarily white people are on this program now, and this country is primarily a white country, so the conversation about white people primarily being on assistance is almost moot, because the country is primarily white. So it sucks that we're here, because it does show China and Russia just how weak we are as a nation present day. We should not allow so much of our money to be going over to Israel, to be going over to Ukraine. It's just asinine that we are throwing billions of dollars towards our allies. But at the same time, this will help prevent a World War III. But the amount of money that we've spent is absolutely ridiculous. And we've given so many resources to other nations to the point where we have not taken care of home. And that in itself is just, unexplainable. It's just completely despicable what Biden has done to this country in just 3 years with the homelessness, the fact that we even have come to the shutdown. But, here we are, and it's a lesson to be learned for Americans all across the country, men and women. And, hopefully this will light a fire for people to, go back to their jobs, vote differently, especially. I know a lot of Black people feel like our votes don't count, that those seats are occupied well before we ever vote. But the example of Trump in office will show you that that's not true. I don't think anybody ever anticipated a character like Trump who has changed the climate of the world, not just this country, the world. So, let me get off my soapbox and allow you to speak, Wiley. Thank you for listening. I've just been going on a ramble here.
Yeah, well, I don't think welfare is a Black issue. Any program that give assistance, whites will always be the biggest recipient of those programs. Due to Ronald Reagan, I believe, and I was reading this book, White Fear, Ronald Reagan put out a lie and said it's a welfare queen, that this welfare queen getting all these millions of checks, but they never could prove who the welfare queen. And that was another echo, another face of just saying Black. So it have always been a lie that Black folks are dominating these government subsidies programs. That they just take.
That is a lie. That is a lie. We are not, because we're not even the majority population.
But also, corporations get welfare subsidies, right? All the time. They call it tax credits. Multiple type of tax credits. In some cases, they don't pay no taxes at all. So I'm not concerned about Black and folks that want to have the programs and just tell them, get out. I'm more concerned about these corporations like Walmart. Let's put them on the picture here. Let's put Walmart on here. That this man is worth billions. I mean, his company's worth billions. And the average worker at Walmart is on government assistant programs. So that is an insult that we as taxpayers, or you as a taxpayer, are subsidizing Walmart employees by your paycheck. You know why? Because they can't depend on a Walmart salary. They can't be on a union. You would get fired. They would destroy you. So it is insulting to say to Black and brown folks, get off of welfare. But we let this guy, the CEO of Walmart, just walk around with a smile, doing a tour, getting multiple money from his shareholders. They're eating wealthy and eating in their nice estates, traveling around the world. And poor Black and brown folks that work at Walmart have to stand in the food stamp line to afford to have some type of food, because it's not enough to pay rent, put their babies in daycare, pay their light bill, pay their gas bill, pay their insurance if they have a car, pay bus fare. But they have to depend on the government to help because Walmart have failed them. So we need to tell people that people don't know that it's a lot of Walmart employees on some type of government assistance because of the amount of money they're bringing in ain't enough for them to survive.
And I 100% agree with that, because our wages, our minimum wages, and even the wages that are offered from corporations especially within retail and other blue collar industries. They do not give us livable wages, but that becomes a capitalism issue. That does not become a social services issue. So what I'm saying is nothing different from what Malcolm X or Huey P. Newton would have said, because they were Marxists. They understood that there was a uneven distribution of wealth in this country, and that is very much true. So the issue becomes capitalism. We need to be able to tell these corporations that you cannot pay these unfair wages to citizens and expect them to survive, and then take most of your manufacturing plants and take them overseas and give majority of these jobs to other countries and stimulate their economy, and leave us with a void in our urban areas and our rural areas. So that's the issue. So yes, does it create a domino effect of, these hungry capitalist conglomerate companies? They abuse the system by unevenly distributing, wealth. Their C-suite employees somehow make $15 million a year, while their low-level employees who were, worker bees who are in the stores are only making at best $15 per hour. Yes, that is very much unfair. So it does create the domino effect of these employees cannot survive. They're being paid grossly underpaid, and they end up in the social services office.
I want to say this is
so I completely understand that.
I believe we live in a capitalist society, but also I believe that it's the government job to help Americans. The last time that the
government's job to help Americans started and ended with FDR. What LBJ did was completely.
1 second, ma'am. So the federal minimum wage in the United States has been $7.25 per hour since July 2009. The last time Congress raised some type of labor are exempt. So $7.25, you can't get no apartment, not even in the hood, with 40 hours making $7.25. The government, Congress, Senate, the minimum wage should be raised immediately, right? And I agree. Right, a lot of companies have been getting 300 to 400 times worth of the wealth. Those the ones that stockholders got all this money, and the average person are suffering. So Congress' job, I believe, we all believe in and that type of for business. I believe I'm an entrepreneur myself, but I also believe that the minimum wage should be way higher than $7.25. The minimum wage should be the minimum should be more than $16 an hour. More than 16. I just said the minimum wage. The minimum, we just want to say minimum, about $16, $17 an hour. And then
it should be in the ballpark of 16 and 17. I would agree with that as well.
I personally believe that it should happen. But this is all with Congress. And the last time that they raised, I believe, what back in 2009 under the Obama administration. I could be wrong. Y'all correct me. If it's 2009, Obama was the president. But I believe that Congress have failed, not only just Democrats, they failed. They had the power for a long time. They failed. Republicans have failed. So this is I look at a party and see how is they taking care of the average American, the poor American. And that's how I judge how good you are. So when I'm looking at poor people from this country, just looking at poor people, right? I said both parties have failed poor people. Let me tell you why. When I'm looking at poor, low-income areas from Chicago, it's been that way since I was a little boy, before I was born, still poor. Republicans, Democrats, whatever. When I go to the poorest parts of this country, poorest parts of Texas, poor people all over this country, poor people are suffering, right? And we need, and Dr. King have preached this and advocated for this, we as poor folks have to demand that those in office do for poor people. You don't hear Congress talk about poor people enough. Where's the agenda for poor folks? When you're poor, you're poor. I don't give a damn if you black or white. You can't pay your bills, no matter your color, if you poor, right? So we as a American and people with privilege that do bring in income, are bringing an income enough so I can at least have housing. But there is some people can't even afford to do that. So with my privilege as a black man with an income, I still have to speak up for my other brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters that can't afford proper housing, that can't afford to pay for food. I have to speak up for them too. And also as creators, content creators, I think that we should always take a break from celebrity gossip like today. And every content creator in this sector should be talking about the government shutdown because this affects you. And this is where you know if you have a content creator that care about you. They will talk about the issues that affecting your daily life, not just about Cardi. They should be talking about it too. Nicki should be talking about it too. Ice Spice should be talking about it too. Every celebrity that is a celebrity that is out here in the entertainment industry, they all should be on their social media demanding that Congress pass a bill so this country will not shut down. Everybody in this sector, from Tasha K all the way down to Lovely T, all the way down to Impressive Channel, all the way down to Chronicle Speaks and Mrs. Strawberry and Steve Harvey, they all should be talking about this government shutdown and demanding that the president, that the Speaker of the House, and every representative demand to do their job. Because at the end of the day, talking about Nicki and JT ain't gonna change you to get an income to pay for some services for your children, to pay for your food stamp if it depleted and go away. So at the end of the day, you as the viewer should be in every content creator DM and say, why haven't you said anything about the government shutdown? You need to be demanding it in your DM the same way you send stuff about JT, the same way you send stuff about Nicki, and tell them why they not live talking about the government shutdown. They need to talk about it because it can affect them too. Because let's be clear, content creators, if your people can't send you a Cash App or a PayPal, it hurts your daily pockets. You ain't gonna be able to get them veneers clean. You ain't gonna be able to get that twisted spinal cord straightened out. You ain't gonna be able to sell out that show on October 20th, Tasha K. You need to definitely talk about this government shutdown. Who cares about Boosie? We are dealing with a crisis that are affecting our viewers because most of our viewers are a part of the working class. They got a job, they work, and we need to demand that these content creators on YouTube talk about this government shutdown and give their audience a plan of action. And the plan of action, call the White House, call Congress, call Matt, call the Speaker of the House, call everybody in government and tell them to do their damn job. Go ahead, ma'am. I didn't know if you wanted to say something. I just had to state it off my spirit because they should be loud talking about this too.
Okay, so this is where you and I agree, is that the government should provide some type of aid to citizens, but the caveat is that they should be retired citizens. If you contribute to Social Security, I completely agree that you and your spouse, or if your spouse contributed, that you as well should get those benefits, period, point blank. I believe in the disabled getting benefits too. I also believe in help for temporary job loss because I was in that category, although I actually did not, believe it or not, qualify for half of the benefits, more than half of the benefits that the government offered. So I had to completely rely on my income, what I had saved. And I went to the church and the church helped me, which was great, the Catholic Church. But other than that, there was no benefits for myself. So I completely understand, because I have been in the category of temporary job loss, although I could not take advantage of government benefits per se. However, this is where we lose each other, is that it is not the government's responsibility to take care of your kids. If you go out and you have kids with, regardless of it's one man, and especially if it's 2, 3, 4 men, it is not their responsibility to say, oh, okay, you have all these kids, ma'am, you and your husband, or just you yourself. Yes, we will feed all of them. But the situation that made it very sticky for the Black community is the government said, we're the government, we're here to help. They literally knocked around doors back in the day, LBJ administration, and they would tell women, we will give you the benefits. You have to surrender as X, Y, and Z, and oh, there can't be a man in the house. We don't care if he's able-bodied or not. So you see 60 years later where that has gotten us. And if you don't see that, then it sucks for you. Maybe you're blind. But I don't think it's their responsibility to take care of people's kids.
I challenge that idea with this. Dr. King said
you challenged what I did, because that was 50 years ago, and a lot of Black people back then could tell you that they witnessed it for themselves, and they themselves were part of that experience.
We're speaking about Black and all of that, but let me tell you, and just throw that out the window.
Removing Black from the situation, it doesn't matter regardless. I'm bringing Black into the situation because it was a detriment to our community. There's no conspiracy theory there. LBJ has tapes. You can listen to the tapes of how racist he was and how he said what he said to tear away the Black community. There's no conspiracy.
Okay, let me say this. I want people to understand about how white people were able to accumulate their wealth, that the government was giving them money to farm, giving them land, giving them all type of money, low interest rate loans. That's a form of welfare. Why is it that we're not talking about these corporations that was able to accumulate their wealth that was built by the federal government? Let's talk about President Donald J. Trump, his father.
And my argument earlier was that it becomes a capitalism issue. No, you cut me off, Wiley, so you go on your tangent.
One second. And we have to talk about how President Donald J. Trump, father, was able to get government contracts to build, and from the Department of Housing, he was able to get some money from the federal government. So again, we have powerful,
I know about these
people that was able to give money all over to build their corporations financed by these United States of America, but we get mad at the Black man or woman or Black woman that get government subsidies, programs. They can get nowhere near the government tax cuts that the wealthy has been accumulating. That's why they got all the wealth. Or the deregulation, allowing wealthy people to use your money and invest it. And if they screw over it, so what? We can get bailed out by the government. So why is we not calling out these corporations that have been screwing us over for generations? But we're talking about a very small piece of the budget. We are talking about a very small piece of the budget where Black woman is getting, or a Black man, or poor whites, because they're getting most of it, are getting food stamps, but we are knowing the corporations are getting welfare all over. They call it
to get the tax credits that they do, and to not allow these corporations to offshore like they do, and to pay us these unfair wages like they do, these slave wages almost. So I would agree with that, the fact that these corporations are kind of getting slap on the wrist left and right, and we're left holding the bag almost. So absolutely, but at the same time, that becomes an issue with capitalism. So we need to make sure that we hold the government accountable and vote properly, so we're not allowing these extreme Republican candidates to, to allow funding for, I don't know, Koch brothers and whatnot, or the NRA. yes, I would agree with all of that. However, it still does not negate the issue that if you have a ton of children, I don't care what color you are, because I live in a semi-rural area. There's a larger white population than black. I see what goes on in the white community. I see the hollers and, the trailer parks when I ride nearby, and I see that there are white women who have just as many kids as a black woman in the hood have. They don't get as much publicity as a black woman in the hood because we have been coined as welfare queens, but they abuse the system and take advantage of the system just as much as the these so-called welfare queens. So my thing is that regardless, it is not the government's responsibility. You cannot say, oh, because I'm only getting paid $7 an hour, now it's your responsibility, Uncle Sam, to feed my kids.
I agree.
I mean, at what point do you try to have a little bit more and then educate yourself to vote properly?
I personally say,
why can't we organize unions? We can organize unions as well. There are so many solutions to issues.
But ma'am, certain states like Texas hurt a lot of employees when they try to organize. Okay, it is so challenging to get a union in the state of Texas. This is an employer friendly state because they don't give a damn about workers' rights. Okay, so I want to say it is the federal government responsibility to increase the minimum wage from $7.25 to at least $16 to $17 an hour. There is certain southern states that is poor. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana get so much money from the federal government because they are suffering. They're not bringing enough revenue to pay their bills. So they have to depend upon the federal government. Is that a form of welfare? You damn right. But they get it. So if they're able to get money, and these southern states able to get money from the federal government, then the minimum wage should go up so people do not have to starve and suffer. They should be able to work at Walmart 40 hours a week and be able to live in a nice, safe neighborhood and to be able to take care of their families. They should not be able to work at Walmart or Amazon or any of these other companies, these big major corporations, and have to depend on the government for food stamps. That's not right at all, because that means the taxpayers is still subsidizing those programs when they have a full-time job because they can't afford it. They ain't making enough. So I know that it's the Congress is their duty to increase that minimum wage from $7 to at least $16 to $7 an hour. And Congress should do it. I don't care whoever, Republican or Democrat, take your pick. They need to sit on down and do it. And it's insulting that it's in the Constitution that they can be able to get their paycheck and regular workers are not able to get there. The Head Start program serving more than 10,000 disadvantaged children will immediately lose their federal funding, although they might be able to, they can definitely kind of like put some away, but that's not going to last long. So it's programs that's going to affect people that get, that depend on these programs, that depend on this stuff. And so I personally believe, to your point, ma'am, that yes, I think that we could do better, but again, it all depends upon that. Even with federal, with Pell Grants and all of that, it should be in the law and it is in certain places where if you work and you get government assistance where they're paid for you to do this government program or pay you to be a CNA, go do a CNA program or something like that, or have a bridge program where they help with closing costs or a down payment to be homeowners. They do have programs. I just think it needs to be promoted enough and funded enough so the average person can understand. But let's not get it twisted. I'm not going to go. I used to go to my people and say, get off of those programs. But when I saw how much money these corporations are getting, these tax credits that these corporations are living so well and they're thriving off of government subsidized program, tax cuts, and all the loopholes they're taking advantage of, I personally believe they are the problem and not the average worker that don't have a say at all, because these corporations are lobbying by the millions, from the food industry all the way down to the retail industry, that they're thriving, and the people that are keeping the company going by working and all of that, they're suffering. I'm talking about those people that are not getting addressed enough. It's insulting to work 40 hours and still have to depend on the government for food assistance. It's sad.
Okay, and
the
for the most part, I agree. But when you think of, although I do believe minimum wage should be raised, the truth of the matter is that when you raise minimum wage, there is going to naturally be an inflation. We already have inflation annually. Typically, it's somewhere around 0.5% or 0.8%. But if you raise the minimum wage, it's going to be far more than that. So your income won't fix the issue. Technically, it will not, because although you will be bumped up from $12 an hour to a federal minimum of $17 an hour, your rent, it would have went from, typically you might see $100, $150 increase annually, sometimes $200, depending on where you're at. But when that federal minimum wage goes up, you're going to see the rent go up twice as much as what it would have typically. So that's just a natural occurrence with the economy. Remember back COVID, when we all got stimulus checks, 2 and 3 rolled out. Some people got more if they had kids and whatnot. And we stimulated the economy. Great. More people got more than what they would typically get with unemployment. Great. A lot of people got PPP loans. Great. But then you saw how expensive everything got around you, right?
No.
Everything from,
Absolutely
yes,
not.
yes, it did. Yes, it absolutely did.
Been going up.
PPG, every
Rent,
consumer,
rent
yes,
is
yes,
already
it did.
up right now.
You can misinform people if you want to. It was just
Ma'am,
2 to 3 years ago.
rent
That
is
happened.
up.
That happened not
rent
only
is
because of supply chain, but that happened because of
It is
because of
all
naturally there was
because of
more
corporate-
money coming
It
through
is
households
all
than what was
because of
typical
corporate
for the
greed.
American family.
1 second, ma'am. It is called corporate greed. That's
Corporate greed is 100% an issue.
That's what it is.
But regardless of
It is
corporate greed, the corporations need to be punished.
It is
But regardless of corporate greed,
corporate greed.
and like I said, corporate greed is an issue.
Corporate greed. It is a massive issue that needs to be addressed by these politicians, because corporate greed is dominating our society.
The politicians are getting kickback from the corporations. It's a policy issue or corporate greed issue. It starts from the top down. So
that corporations are buying houses by the thousands, in some cases the millions, and they're jacking the rent up. I believe that it needs to be federal government laws to prevent companies dominating the industry and the real estate industry, because it is hurting the average Joe. They can't afford the rent because the rent is too damn high. They can't afford it.
Absolutely.
They
but
cannot afford it.
That's kind of going off into a separate side of this conversation. But yes, I would 100% agree with that.
If you're making $10.25, you can't afford an average rent of a 2-bedroom for $15 rent in order to at least live comfortable. And some experts are predicting that you got to make a minimum of $30 or more a month. It's insulting. It is insulting. Look at California.
That is very insulting. And I would 100% agree with that. But the thing is,
so many homeless people in California.
Yes.
They're flooding.
Yes, there is.
And they're working jobs. They're working, going to work and living on the street.
So, Wiley, the thing is that that's not going to stop the inflation. That won't stop the real estate developers and the property owners to say, okay, there has been an increase in everyone's wages, so we're going to increase the rent far more than what was typical for the last 3 to 4 years for all of the properties, the entire portfolio. The only way that we could stop it is if we had government interference. So they would have to come in and intervene. So yes, it is a corporate greed issue, but the government is supposed to come in and draw a line and say, you cannot raise this rent from $1,250 to, $1,700 a month.
You cannot, and I believe
they still cannot afford it, regardless of the increase in their wage.
I personally believe
so. It is a corporate greed issue, but it's also a policy change as well, and we're not getting that from the government. I expect the corporations to be greedy. We're in a capitalist country. Capitalism is what makes this country go round, and honestly, the world too. Unfortunately, go ahead.
I want to say this. This is why I say Congress have the power to propose a bill to regulate that, to stop it.
It 100% should be regulated.
In the state of Illinois, in the state of Texas, in the state of New York, and all these states, they need to prevent these corporate landlords, right? Because most of these are corporate owned. This is not your average, most landlords are corporate America, corporate companies. Big companies, your Chase Banks, your all of these powerful corporate interests, Wall Street. These is corporate greed. It needs to be laws to prevent them to own, just like back in the day, it was a law that you couldn't own all these radio stations, right? And then it changed under Clinton. Now you can own as many stations as possible, and it hurt the music industry because it's hard for the independent stations to break through because you've been dominated by these big companies. It needs to be laws to prevent that, to limit the amount of properties as a corporate entity that you can rent. The same way they're stopping people from having all these Airbnbs, because now it's a housing shortage. They need to come for these corporations that are buying 3 million properties and just jacking the rent up in the neighborhood. That needs to cease, and Congress got the power to stop it. And if they don't stop it, then vote some people in that will stop it. The rent is too damn high. I'm totally against corporate greed. I don't call it inflation. I call it what it is, corporate greed. I don't give a damn. You try to make it sound sexy. What is this inflation? Baby, I'm from the hood. I call it corporate greed. And I stand on that. And I believe that it need to be an anti-corporate greed bill that need to be proposed and voted on. And whoever is the president, it could be Joe Biden. He needs to implement it into law to prevent companies from dominating the industry and taking over all of the real estate and making the rent too damn high. Florida is dealing with this. Also, you got parts of New York have been dealing with a crisis for a long time. You got Illinois, they're dealing with rent is being jacked up. And when you Google these landlords, it's a corporation. It's not the average Joe like myself that owns properties. No, most people that is landlords are corporate America. They own all these properties. And that need to cease. Why is Chase going to spend $1 billion to invest and buy properties? Because they're going to rent it and they're going to make them richer. And who's going to suffer? I'm going to suffer. You're going to suffer. Your aunt's going to suffer. Your daddy going to suffer. People are suffering. And our Congress is sleeping at the wheel. Sleepy Congress. They're sleepy. They're sleeping right now at the wheel. And our people are suffering. And this is why for a long time we have been annoying the state houses. Of your trustee. If you live in the suburbs, we have a trustee that's going to be coming on our show with the suburban stuff, like understanding how government work from all levels, county, state, city. That's what we brought our attorney on. He helped put together the Safety Act, or they paid him to give them how to work the Safety Act, put it together. So we got to talk about how government work. And that's why I'm learning how the system work and see how can we inform our people and how can we change it for the better. That's why I'm glad today that President Biden was able to cancel some debt for schools that preyed predatory lending on folks, telling them that you can become a police officer if you have a felony or all of this stuff. Now that if you went to Westwood, that debt is wiped out. You went to ITG Tech, the debt is wiped out. So now when I open up my credit report, now I'm only in $5,000 in student loan debt, and that $5,000 was only for the University of Phoenix. I'm not gonna try to talk about the school because I do got some homeboys and girls one of my homeboys, he worked for the Department of what was that? He works in the government, and he got his degree, his criminal justice degree from Westwood College. So yeah, but I do want to say, I do want to thank President Biden because after all this talk, he did that player. I checked, I got it, whoosh. My credit score took a hit because one of my longest thing on my credit, which was my student loan, is gone. And they said you paid it off, and that's just on the credit. So now I have to go back to the drawing board to rebuild that, which is fine because now my debt to income is way, my income is more than my debt now. And that never happened out of the 32 years that I've lived because of that, because of Congress. I mean, because of the president or his department, whatever, who did it. I have to give Biden the credit because he in office, right? And he counts it. And so my mother is in the process of doing. I'm telling everybody, did you go to West? Call on people? Yeah, man. It wasn't in default, right? No. Oh, they filling it out. They getting their debt counselor. And I stayed on top of that because I said, great, this is something good. So now for me, only thing I got to do is keep what I'm doing, making sure my credit utilization is at under, like keep it at 1%. Make sure that I don't have nothing to default, get them delinquency, all that off my credit, and blah. And then, we predict by the first or second quarter that our credit score going to be up to 700 points. And I'll be the first person in my immediate family with a good credit score. And then I can walk a little stronger because if you black with a good credit score, 6'2" and look good, you good to go. Then I'll be up there. So I want my credit up because I understand the power of having good credit with income coming in, with your business being established. I know how to leverage things. You can move a little different when you debt free, good credit, and with multiple streams of income, you can move a little different in society. But still, with that mindset, I'm still looking out for my people because I still got to tell them to understand this. Now, out of all of this stuff with government shutdown chaos, I'm still learning about my business. How can I survive in this type of society? And I'm learning, right? I'm learning. And I want to say thank you to my producers that we do our shows, we do our Zoom meetings and stuff because we're learning about growing our business, right? So because I want to have that story just always complaining, but I also say, okay, how can I be better as an individual? How can I make sure that my offspring, because they're going to come, how can they be better off than I was? So I want to make sure, number one, I understand by looking at my loved ones that being financially stable is one major key of being a successful parent. To be able to run your household, because you running your household, you gotta pay bills. And the failure with a lot of parents is that they can't be there with the emotional aspect of their children because they got to work and or they don't have money coming in. They add a lot of unnecessary stress. And so I want to make sure at least when we do go through things, don't let money be the problem. Okay, let it be something else. What I'm investing in. What's the next trend or something, or but I don't want it to be, damn, I can't buy you no shoes because I ain't got it. Damn, I can't buy you no drawers because I ain't got it. Damn, I can't move out of this low income earning money because I ain't got it. So that's why I'm just understanding that it's the retraining of the mind to start thinking as a business and understanding their game that Chase Bank run, the game that they play, understanding the game that Walmart plays in society, and the game that Amazon plays in society. So understand that so I can be better off helping my family. And I think people need to be more so family oriented, how to help your family, then you help your family. Then before you know it, the whole community is changing. If everybody start thinking about how to move their family forward, and then you help move your family forward. So that's what I have to understand, because I can't change society. I don't have power. But one damn thing I do have power of changing is making me better. Because I can't change this society. It's bigger than me. And one thing, I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes, his book called The Disruptor. He was given he read an excerpt of Nelson Mandela, The Long Road to Freedom book. He said, when I got to the top of the mountain, he said, it's another mountain to climb. So I'm going to just rest right now. I can't quote it verbatim. So what I understand, I'm not going to try to change this system. I can't do it alone. Many people have tried, and you can't do it alone. This is a collective thing. But one thing I can change is my life. I can make that better. How can I make Marquise Wiley life better? Right? I can make that change. And I'm making the.
I want to add something, Wiley, if you don't mind, so I can get out of here.
To be better. And that's why I want people to understand is when you look at this government shutdown, is we got to look at the chaos, look at the noise, and be like, okay, what can we do to change this? And some of you all going to run for public office. Some of this government shutdown is going to light some up your behind. You're going to say, you know what? I need to run for city council. I need to run for mayor. I need to run for governor. You know what? I got a lot of homegirls with money, with wealth. We're going to put a super PAC and we're going to fund these candidates in Matt district. And we're going to out some out by electing somebody that's going to do for our interests. Oh, Kevin McCarthy, he weak. We're going to get somebody else in his district, run against him. We're going to fund it. And then they're going to come in and do for what we want done. Increasing the minimum wage, making sure that Black home ownership rises, making sure Black companies be able to get contracts, make sure Black media like the Wiley Show be able to get advertisement from the federal government, because we're going to have people in there to make sure it happens. So this is why we have to make sure that even though this is a lot of mess, okay, how can we do better so we can avoid this ever happen again? But go ahead, ma'am. You can finish your last point.
Yes. So change, that's a great segue. I think corporate greed is a tremendous issue in this country. It absolutely exists. And the only way that we will have change with that is if we complain to the correct bureaus, the correct entities, make sure you write your senators, your congressmen, make sure you organize. That means outside your workplace. If you have to, make sure you organize outside the state capitol if you have to, protest. That's how we saw change with civil rights, women's liberation, and a lot of other great movements in this country. We absolutely have to organize. Sitting around talking about it is great. It creates some type of conversation and it provokes thought. However, just saying that I'm tired and I'm sick and tired of sick, that does not create any type of change. It's time to organize, because I think we're all tired of these rent prices, these gas prices, these grocery prices, everything. So, we got to remember that change starts with actually being present at the town halls, writing who we need to, complaining when we need to. We just can't sit around, complain, and bend over and taking it with no Vaseline at that. So we really definitely have to make sure that we organize, and we are very vocal to our president and to every government entity that is responsible for creating these changes and implementing these policies that will stop the rent prices and everything else. Because regardless of what I think about social services, corporate greed is 100% an issue, because I've seen it with my own eyes with the industries that I've worked in and in the positions that I've worked in. So anyway, Wiley, I really do appreciate this conversation and you allowing me on this platform.
Yes, I love you. Thank you for giving your opinion.
Thank you.
And I pray that your husband, that y'all get through this. I'm going to keep doing my job by informing. We didn't always agree, but one thing that we can agree on, that it need to be some changes. We can agree on that.
Absolutely. 100%.
Thank you, man,
All right.
for calling in.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. So that's what I believe. I believe in marching. I'm marching in a different way. Getting my credit together, my income together, living in a mixed income neighborhood, and bringing on people, experts, and understanding, expanding my mind, reading different books, reading different leaders. I've read somewhere they said, I was watching someone and he said, success leave clues. And that's true. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel already exists. Follow it and make it your own way. And so learning about economics, learning about free enterprise, learning about ownership, learning about, all of that. And yes, I bump across the road. I've developed, and I could just do this. Ain't that type of show. We talk about the government shutdown. We dedicate that, but just start thinking like a business. Mistakes happen. I mean, a big old mistake from my accountant, big mistake she made, got us in a little tax debt. That ain't no, whew. But when you in business, things happen. Because I wasn't paying attention. Whatever. She did it, whatever. I call it the tax lady. You gotta say it's your account. I said, oh, you talking about the tax lady? So you have to change up your vocabulary. So, unfortunately, this is a lot. And yet I deal with that, but it didn't stop me from thinking about the government shutdown. Even though I'm learning about my business, handling stuff behind the scenes, I'm still thinking about the government shutdown because I see it all the time. I say, oh, ain't nobody talking about this. I gotta talk about my people. And a lot of creators that I talk to behind the scene, they said, well, I don't know anything about politics. It's not, but something that if you don't get a paycheck, you could just Google it. You don't know too much about Nicki or Cardi. We just get it from the shade room. We Google this stuff. It ain't like we breaking stories, some of us. We just talking about something that's already public. So what? Google is your friend. Google it. Just type it in. How does the government shutdown affect the average American? What is the government shutdown? Who is caused the government shut? Just look at it, read it, and bring it to the people. Open up the phone lines and let's have a conversation about it, because we should be talking about these things. I remember, oh my gosh, this was the height of the pandemic, and a creator, I'm not going to say their name. They were driving. They had to go to Best Buy. Their camera wasn't working. So they got in the car, went to Best Buy. Store closed. I'm going to go to another bed. They didn't even know that the place, it was shut down because we was dealing with a pandemic. They didn't know it. And then they came out on their channel. I don't talk about politics. This is insane. I can't go to the store and buy a new camera. Dude, do you watch the news? But that was a sign that politics ain't so boring. It affect, now you see, that's all government regulated. Because if you was in Florida, they was all open. So my point, don't wait till the bottom fall out to be informed. Be informed before the bottom fall, so you don't fall in the bottom. It don't shock you. I know. I'll listen to the governor. Then now you watch the news because you want a new camera. You need to talk about these things. Let's talk about let's talk about celebrities a little bit. Because I gotta go. These celebrities, they suffering. A lot of them. They suffering. They ain't making enough money. They suffering. They going through financially. They going through financially because people ain't buying their records. They ain't going to them concerts like that. Unless you like Taylor Swift or Beyonce, you ain't selling out like that. Maddie Baggio was performing in an empty place. So what I'm saying is that we, as people, as creators, as myself, I'm going to take the lead because we're going to be informed over here at the Wiley Show. And y'all call in and tell us what's going on. Give me the tea, and I'll share it to the people. Like I had a conversation with some City Hall drama, and I'll share it. I'll keep you anonymous. You my source. You anonymous. I ain't going to give away my source. But they need to know these things. And this is why we're going to do it on this show. I don't care about saying, oh, it ain't going to get milk. You don't never know. It will get trillions. But my job is to inform the 95 people that are watching this around the country and around the world. You need to know. Because some of y'all, this is your first time hearing that we had a government shutdown. Do you know why? You ain't watching on CNN TV. You got TV. I am your new TV. All right? All right. Thank you all so very much. Let's go ask for some money. Cash App, $ Marquise Wiley 28. Marquise Wiley 28. Zelle Wiley Show at gmail.com. Send it via Zelle. Also, we have PayPal as well. We want to thank y'all so very much. But don't forget, tonight we're going to be doing our show. And this is why we didn't want to be on here all day, because we'll be right back in about a couple of hours, because we're going to be talking about none other is child support evil for the black man. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. You could be a black man or woman. And I want to hear your thoughts. Even some of the women that got trying to get their man on child support, I want to hear y'all thoughts as well about how difficult it is about child support. Share your story right here, live on the Wally Show at 7 p.m. September 30th. It's today, 7 p.m. Is child support evil for the black man? I want to hear your thoughts. I want the brothers in the room. We got to talk about it. I want y'all in the room. That's at 7 p.m. We're going to be on for 60 minutes, 1 hour or more. Could change. It all depends on how good it is. How much millions. Okay. I want to see it right then and there. I want to see y'all there. It's going to be amazing. That's going to be tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If it's your first time watching Wiley's show, I want you to say, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. Shout out to the executive producers. Love you all, our members. We call them executive producers. That's going to be tonight at 7 p.m. For this town hall. I want y'all definitely there. I love y'all. I love y'all. I want y'all in the building. I want you on the building, Tasha. I want to see you, Tasha Latavia. I want to see you. I want to see you, Tasha. Who else? My other members are here. Ooh, where's my members at? Ooh, they slacking. I see Tasha. I think I don't see Tasha in here. Well, shout out to the executive producer. Y'all gonna see me tomorrow, child. Y'all gonna see me tomorrow. True Heart in the building. What else? Where's my other members? Ooh, because some of y'all got gifted memberships. Y'all better join. Okay. All right. What time tomorrow? Okay. Tomorrow's time tomorrow. All right. We're going to do it at 12 p.m. noon. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. noon. Noon tomorrow, and I believe we're gonna finally broadcast an interview tomorrow too. But 12 p.m. noon on Zoom. 12 p.m. And that's gonna be. I'm sorry, yeah, that's 12 on the East Coast. That's 11. That's 11 Central, 12 on East Coast. So I will see y'all over there. Of course, we're gonna go live over here first, so y'all will know. To hit the membership. No, tomorrow is the members only. Tonight is the town hall. All right. Tomorrow is the members only. Tonight is the town hall. Tonight is the town hall. Okay. That tonight is the town hall. Creators, I want y'all in the building for that. That's tonight at 7 p.m. That is Central Standard Time. So in East Coast is 8 o'clock. All right. All right. Thank you all so very much. Now, I already know. Okay. Looking forward to it all. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Daniela, I see you, Cal. I see you. All right. Love y'all so very much. Now, I'm under the weather, but I'm still going to do the show. Because my allergies. Okay, got it. I'll be present tonight. Yes. All right. Talk to y'all later. Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you are now with time to put God first. Put him first. Thank you all so very much. I'll be back. Oh, wait a minute. I'll be back tonight. Town Hall, 7 p.m. I was out. Look, sit back down. I was out a little bit walking to the store, and I was getting some products. I was out there walking, baby. I was out there jamming. Oh, it felt good when he was out walking. And I had a little problem with the little driver, the little Uber driver. Now, I've been driving, taking Uber, like, he didn't want to drop me in front of my building. That man dropped me off front of the lease, and I said, "Sir, that ain't my building." It say right here, get out. And I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Okay, sir. Thank you, sir." Didn't cuss him out. I didn't, be out of touch. I grabbed my items. He drove off. I got on the phone, wrote a message, got on the phone, wrote a couple of emails. That's all I'm going to say. Because you did it to the wrong one. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can't do that. If you know my building is right there, come on over. And I've been checking these out for years. So I didn't complain. I didn't argue with her. I said, that's your right. As soon as I got out that car, and I tell my members what I said, they can get that tea tomorrow. Because I don't play. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to go to your employer. All right? They ain't going to do. You just the wrong one. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to be out of whack because I don't play that. Like, why would you do that? You drop me off where I'm supposed to be dropped. I used the app off forever. I used it for years. I think more than I took a lot of rides on those apps, and I like it because the convenience of it. Because I don't like to drive. I don't want no car. I want to be driven around. I don't want a car. I don't want it. Just don't want it. I just want to be driven around. I'm auditioning to be rich. Damn it. It's okay. I want the luxury of not driving. I just want to just get in the car, listen to my Audible book, I don't want to drive. I never wanted a car. I never wanted it. It's because I couldn't get because of public transit, it sucks. I just got one to get to my job because my jobs that I had at the time, public transit work. So now I'm like, no, I don't want it. If I can't get to a job that I can get, ain't no public transit, then I don't want it. But look for what members of enjoy. Yes. So I get into it with the members on tomorrow. They said, don't forget the little black boss and girls. Don't forget. Yes. Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you enough. When times get hard, always remember, put God first. So that's what I'm thinking of. I want the luxury. When I was listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes, the disruptor, he said, I don't know where to get a car. Where to take my car to get it fixed. Back in the day when I was in Virginia, I knew the guy. When my alternator break down, I knew to call him, then he would fix my alternator. But now I can't even phantom where to go to get my car fixed. I called the dealership and take it to the dealership. Oh, wait, they come to me and give me a loaner. That's the type of power I want. Glory! I don't even want to take it. If I do have it, you come pick it up and bring me my replacement car until you get my fixed. So I'm reading that book, get inspired. I ain't reading the book to get jealous. I'm reading. Teach me more about Trump Enterprise. You teach me more about, not Trump Enterprise, about T.D. Jakes Enterprise. You teach me about wealth. And then I can serve God with a clear understanding. And that's why when you apply scriptures and parables with Jesus, it helps you in your business. Woo! It's good to hear people that is dropping gems to people, right? I love it. Audible, give me a check. Y'all tell Audible, give me a check. I'm giving y'all this free promo, but I just love it because I just love the luxury that I've learned so much because of the Audible app. Anyway, I go on and on and on, but let me go because we got to get ready for the night. Thank you all so very much. Let's go. I'll see y'all tonight. Y'all have a good day. Peace. Because I love to talk. I'm talking. Yeah, I love to talk. I just can't stop talking. I ain't been with y'all a long time. I ain't out here no crying babies and crying babies. People fighting in the back. I'm at home. Yeah, I'm at home. What my second home, right? I'm still paying rent here until I'm done paying rent here. It's mine. Well, technically. Okay. But I'll see y'all tonight. Talk to you later. Peace.